Welcome to the Short Bus, everyone. I am the Short Bus veteran, Bat Sauce, and today I'm going to be talking about Superkiller. Kind of a preview, just Act 1 of the comic, because this comic has been habitually late. So this is what we got. And Act 1, 23 pages of like 70-something, I believe. So it should give us a good taste of how the series is going to continue, and I feel like it's probably going to be a while before we actually get our comic. So let's do a little review of what we got, right?
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Presenting the Short Bus Veteran! So let me start off by saying that I don't really like Vito, the character, or whatever the hell he is playing online. So if you think I'm too biased on this, that's completely fair. So you could throw my opinion out or whatever, but I am going to try to be looking at this very objectively. This is also one of the only indie comedy comics that I have or will be getting, because I don't actually have this. Just a preview. Also, I want to make the point right now, I should have made this in the beginning, that I will be comparing this a lot to ISOM and other Rippaverse stuff, because for how much Vito insists on crapping on those stories, it's kind of about where I think they're not as bad as people are making it out to be, and most of them are on the positive side. So it's just a little bit of a knocking down somebody's peg, because they think they're just all this. Everybody thinks that they can write a story, and you know, out of all these indie stories that I've read, it's like not as easy as you thought, and I kind of have the feeling this is going to fall right into that camp. And also, on somebody else's channel, Vito made the claim that he's a better writer than Chuck Dixon, which is ridiculous, and definitely not. So that's, you make the claim, you gotta put out. And so far, from what I've read in this story and in these 23 pages, dude, the comedy in Alpha Core is better than this, and that's not a comedy comic. So, what's going on, dude? The other thing is, like, overall in this story with the jokes, I had one little ha moment and one, okay, this is funny, but then also looking at the joke and how it was written, I'm like, there is a way better way to write this, and you kind of like over-explained. And when I get to the joke, I'll show it and I'll kind of explain my thoughts on it and how to improve it, and hopefully you guys agree with me in my opinion. But yeah, we'll see. So a message from Vito for the people getting this a little exclusive here. Hello, backer. Please enjoy this exclusive 23-page digital preview of Superkiller #1, the complete first act of our story. I'm assuming it's a three-act story. I know I said I was going to send out the entire book this month. It's like he says that every month. But I decided that was a really stupid idea. So I did this instead. This, honestly, so let me say, this is a stupid idea. You're getting people to preemptively judge it. I get he's got all the background that he's going to get, but then you're going to get people like me just coming out here and throwing shade. But also, it's like, I don't know. I'd rather just get the whole story at once and not just get like a preview of it, and then I get the full story, and then I have already read 1/3 of it or potentially 1/2 of it, and it's kind of like, okay, so it's less of a package. You know, if it's a good story, it's kind of just, it doesn't have the same hit as it was. So I do not recommend anyone throw this like an entire third of a preview to anyone. What do I know? Also, there is a black and white version of the comic now, and you'll be getting a free copy once we start shipping everything out. I guess he's just trying to add stuff to the campaign because he feels bad for it being late. If you got a color version and you didn't, I don't know why you'd want a black and white version. I feel like that would also add to the cost of shipping. But, alright, cool. It's a free thing, whatever. Not gonna complain too much. You should probably read the end of the July campaign update for all the details. No thank you. Anyway, please keep in mind, this is still a work in progress, a bit rough around the edges. The lettering and coloring will definitely be changed up a bit in the final part. This is kind of confusing where he says and I didn't see anything in the email, but maybe I missed something, but the coloring will definitely be changed up. There's no coloring in this comic, so I don't know why we would judge the coloring or whatever. And again, this is really late, so the 23 pages, like, they're still gonna be working on the lettering? Really? Okay. But I still think we've got something pretty cool here. I hope you like it, Vito. So I know a lot of people complain about the art style and stuff like that. I'm fine with it. I kind of like, for the most part, these beginning pages. Yeah, they're kind of rough, but they're supposed to be from a comic being read in this universe. So they get better, and it's supposed to be kind of cheesy looking, and it does look cheesy. But then that's fine. So right off the bat, in the beginning, what's happening is like kind of a Superman comic joke, I guess, is going on, and one of our main characters, the waitress, is reading it, and she's kind of shitting on it, which is pretty brave move. Kind of, I don't know, I guess making a comment on old Superman comics, but okay. And then we jump really quickly into the joke that's in the campaign that's kind of expanded upon. And this was one of my criticisms about the campaign, is that you have one joke featured and the joke, to me, didn't hit. It was a sexist joke, which, hey, we all like sexist jokes, but it was a really obvious sexist joke, and it fell flat, in my opinion, and I think it still falls flat here. Thankfully, great man invented glorious radiation oven for the benefit of useless women. From things I've learned in stand-up, and this is kind of like the Kill Tony philosophy, is that, like, when you start off something, you want to hit people joke, quick little snippets to kind of get people going, so when they read it. And I don't feel like this comic does that at all, and it's not getting you in the mood for the rest of the show, essentially. So he's throwing a lot of jokes out there and trying to hit you rapid fire, but again, throughout the comic, it's like, it's very obvious the jokes he's trying to make, and in my opinion, they don't really land. Oven was invented in 1945 by American engineer Percy Spencer. Okay, cool. So it's the joke that it was made by a guy. We've seen those jokes before, done by better comedians and expanded upon way better. Joe Rogan, he did a great joke about women not really inventing shit. So then we kind of get into some backstory about how she was an uber comic fan, and she was kind of beat up and bullied for being a nerd, so into comics, and she tried to do everything to become a superhero because she looked up to them so much. One of the heroes that she really looked up to, Knight Manta, yeah, we got a joke straight out of The Boys, and this is another problem. It's like, his competition, The Boys or Invincible. It's a lot of the jokes seem inspired or from them, and it's just like, I've seen this joke done better in The Boys. Also, it's kind of people. If we see the trajectory of The Boys, we can see that people are very tired of these just cheap, lewd jokes. So, again, kind of missing the bad timing with this, I would say. Yeah, this is the deep. He has sex with a fish. Okay, ha 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 ha. And then the bell rings and our superhero shows up. He's beat up. So then the question is, what happened to him? Why is he beat up? He begins to tell her that Meteor Man did this, and Meteor Man is a known hero in this universe. This is a multiverse story. Again, really bad timing with the multiverse story. Deadpool just came out and joked about how we're really sick about multiverses. He's being sent to kill these hero types, and gives no hint off to that he's an assassin for hire for any reason but like working for a villain, you would assume, right? I guess in the campaign it's explained that there's a necessity to kill these heroes, but sure. He then goes on to explain that his gun can kill people in one shot, normally, unless they got something like a healing factor that takes two, and he's never seen anyone have to take a third shot, which I complained about this in the campaign video, essentially saying that, like, well, this is kind of lame. This makes me think of One Punch Man, where One Punch Man, a story written like that, 99.9% of the people that would write that story would fail, and it would be terrible, because it's a story that like almost shouldn't work, but the guy who's writing it is so good at writing that he's able to make it work. I don't have kind of confidence, especially from what we're seeing, that this is gonna be like a One Punch Man type success in story writing. No, absolutely not. And it's like two shot. Okay, so that's the other thing. Is like we know that eventually down the line he'll run into a character that takes a third shot. Like he didn't die after the second shot. Oh my god! So he's gonna take a third shot. So we already know how that's gonna happen. And like I said, with One Punch Man, it's like you have to ask the question: how is this story gonna keep interesting when it's like, well, most people just take one shot to kill, and as you find out in this, Meteor Man takes more than one shot. So we're already up to 2-shot killing people. So are we gonna have to take a 4th shot? Saying that the gun doesn't have like 3 shots to take. So I don't know. It's not, to me, it's a bad time. Bad time. So yeah, he explains how that this is not as easy of a job as you would think. A lot of people are good at dodging bullets, but yeah, he has to land a shot or 2 on people in order to succeed. And let me just take this opportunity to, again, point out the gun, and this being a comedy, and unless it's going to be like pretty much a ripoff of One Punch Man where it's 1 shot, 1 kill, he could have taken the opportunity to give him something funny about his powers. Like, I don't know, something lame, like something perceived as super lame, but then ends up actually being like, if you're really smart, you can end up like using it really well, and it's like, wow, I shouldn't have underestimated this lame seeming power, that's probably how I would have went about it myself. But I think My Hero Academia kind of does that, where it's just like powers you wouldn't think are really that great end up being like actually kind of like really awesome under some people's abilities. Like the guy who's able to phase through stuff, like where phasing powers doesn't seem that great, but the way he's able to use it, he's one of the top characters, top superheroes because of that. But again, that would take good writing abilities to do that. The people who write, the guy who writes, girl, whatever, that writes My Hero Academia is a talented writer. Don't really expect that from Vito. So this is one of the jokes I went ha at, right? All right, let me share the screen. So if you want to shoot a superhero, you can't just storm into their secret hideout and start firing blindly. You need planning, precision. Most importantly, you need hostages. You need what? Yeah, it's hot. That was funny. Smart, right? Decent joke. If the rest of the comic had jokes like that, this would be a much more positive review. So then he's explaining how he's in the bank, and he knows that the bank has a contract with Meteor Man, and that he's basically, if anything happens here, he's going to be forced to come. And he doesn't really need hostages. He doesn't. So in the bank scene, he just fires a regular gun and gets the guy to come, and then he doesn't really do anything with any of the hostages there. He just takes the opportunity that he's right there and takes a shot at him. I mean, at first he's shooting bullets out and making him like show off the fact that bullets bounce off of him. He's like makes a little joke about how all superheroes that are bulletproof like to show that off, and really that's fine. It's fine joke, but it doesn't really land. Then he takes the opportunity to take a shot at the guy with his kill gun, and because he's full of himself, he lets the shot hit, but didn't really take any hostages, so it didn't really have a through line with the joke. Essentially, like he didn't really like hold a gun to anyone and be like, do what I say, and or else this person gets it. But okay, but yeah, this is the joke that I thought was funny. Let me show the screen. But again, I thought it could have used work. Wait, why am I waiting in line? I'm supposed to be a terrorist. No, that wasn't the joke. Man, I need to be Bin Laden. To be Bin Laden, this shit. Bring some of that 9/11 energy. This universe did have 9/11, right? Allah Akbar. I am a Saudi kid, and my hatred of your bountiful American freedoms has inspired me to jihad. And it kind of goes on like, oh my God, it's just like 9/11. Now, I think this would just be better. Just take out this little preemptive part, trying to get you ready for the joke and explaining the 9/11 part. Just be like, all right, what do I gotta do? Allah Akbar, you know, just straight to that, and then ha ha ha, we're making fun of Muslims. All right, cool, little racy joke like that, and then you know have the guy be like, oh my God, it's just like 9/11. Yeah, it's just a little bit too much explanation in the joke. Or you can make the fact that there's a joke then they're in a different universe, and that I don't know, maybe they think Allah Akbar means something different. Like, oh my God, he's gonna rape us or something. Which I don't know, that kind of means something to some people. It means it to them. Meteor Man shows up, and then we got Vito in the comic right here. We got Vito. He had himself drawn a lot skinnier than he is. This is you're being way too fair to yourself. You are not this skinny, Vito. You definitely are missing some fat there. And right here, this looks like he's letting his politics get into here with the gun loophole joke. Again, don't recommend letting your politics get involved into your art. After he gets a shot off on Meteor Man, he's fine, and then he gets punched really badly, and I would assume he'd be dead after this. I guess he's lucky that Meteor Man didn't decide to like follow up and like crush his head like they would do in Invincible or something like that. But it's fine. It's fine. They keep making a joke about the guy has hell of an ass, which kind of just makes me. I thought it was a decent joke, but it feels like a ripoff of Captain America and Marvel just doing that joke about America's ass, which was done much better. And then we have a joke in here that's a multiverse joke, which I don't know why he didn't take advantage of the fact that this is a multiverse a little bit more. Just really mostly the jokes are just about how kind of all these characters are the same in every universe. Sure. The bank robbery footage is trending all over Bonk Zongo. You know, every time I think I've heard of the stupidest social media website name in the multiverse, they go and hit me with something like Bonk Zongo. Editor or somebody, I know it's not the editor's job, but somebody just tell Vito this joke is really bad. It's not funny. And I will not be the last person to make fun of you for making this lame joke as soon as somebody tweets it out. Then it ends with Meteor Man showing up again at the restaurant after he kind of gets done explaining his whole story with Meteor Man at the bank to the waitress. And that is the end of the first act. So my assumption is that this waitress character, you know, being the sidekick in the story, as it was explained in the campaign, she's after he gets a second shot off on Meteor Man. And this is going to be really important for the story because it's got to be really entertaining, kind of a little bit smart to keep the story going. With how he's going to get that second shot off on him. I really hope he doesn't do the third shot thing on the first hero. That'd be very lame. Or maybe Vito has already given up and is like, I don't want to do another comic because it's taking forever and people keep making fun of me. So he might just do this as a one shot. I would not be surprised if that is the case. So, hey guys, if you never see another campaign for this comic, do not be surprised. So anyway, explaining that the girl, so she's a superhero lover, and I'm assuming based off of the fact that her favorite superhero turned out to be a creep, she's kind of going to be like, oh no, I like the idea of being an assassin lady, which as far as motivation goes, not really good. I don't know, like you need to show, like it's a little bit more of a telling, not showing, like, oh yeah, like at least show us the when it happened in The Boys, right? Like we got Starlight, which is a much better done of a character that gets upset with the world of superheroes and kind of turns against them. Where, so Starlight is sexually assaulted and everyone's bullying her at the 7, And they show you this, and you feel for Starlight when this stuff happens, and you understand her flip. Whereas in this, it just tells you, like, oh yeah, like, there's this, her favorite superhero ended up being a pervert, which again was a joke with the deep. I think there's kind of a running theme here. Like, if it was done in The Boys as far as comedy, he probably might try to repeat it here, and it just was better in The Boys. So, and I'm not a fan of The Boys. I thought season 1 was pretty good, but just go watch The Boys. Don't bother with this. Yeah, the whole joke about the meteor man being as hard as a meteorite, like the joke, it doesn't land. I don't, like, I get it. Meteorites are harder than you would expect, but as far as parody Supermans, it's definitely the weakest of the parody Supermans that I've seen as far as a joke. Another joke that just is cheap and lame. What a creep. Maybe if I'm lucky, he'll actually bang one of those filthy whores and contract some deadly strain of super AIDS. Haha. Though I guess if that happens, I'd be out of a job. It's kind of where it's like, I see how you're trying to make a joke, but it's just, there's the punchline. Haha, super AIDS. Okay, this is a joke that I wanted to kind of highlight. I feel like I should have highlighted at the beginning. With commenting on the Meteor Man comic and how lame it was. And he goes, well, whatever. At least it's a better read than those stupid crowdfunded books I bought. The ones that actually shipped on time anyway. Okay, so Eric July living rent-free in Vito's head. I would not recommend people put their personal groups of people into their art. This is very cringe. And I thought, like, if he just takes out this part, like, at least it's a better read than those stupid crowdfunded books I bought, then it's, like, self-deprecating. But then he had to add this part to be like, oh no, it's specifically Eric July, which is also kind of weird because it's like Eric July didn't do crowdfunding technically. It's a pre-order. Yeah, and it's just an awkward joke. Like, yeah, a lot of indie books, because again, not everybody writes as well as they think. And they tend to not be as great all the time. But at least the ones that ship on time, you didn't have to wait just to get a crappy book or just wait just to get a 23-page preview, not colored or anything. Yeah, totally. I don't know. Again, this is littered with where you could see Vito trying to make a joke, but it's either A, been done better somewhere else, very recognizably done better somewhere else, like The Boys or something like that. Or it's just like, it just doesn't land. I don't know. He's just missing that, whatever makes comedy. There is no specific thing, but whatever that thing is, Vito's does not have it. And so, I mean, like I said at the beginning, like, this is enough pages to kind of tell where this is going to go. I honestly was a little bit concerned with getting this book because where I don't like Vito, a really easy way to win people over is through comedy. And if you can make somebody laugh, you can usually win them over. And I'm like, I don't want to be won over by Vito. Gratefully, this is not winning anyone over. It's not getting any big chuckles. Yeah, I have a book coming out that's a comedy, and hopefully my jokes are landing a lot better than this. I mean, like, there's other, like, indie comics that you could read that are not even comedies that you would get more laughs out of. Like, I know Mythics 1, I read that, and that's not a comedy comic, and I found a lot of the things in there funnier than I did in this 23-page thing. And I get it, this isn't all the way done, but as a preview, this is a bad preview. And the beginning of something, and something that's supposed to be funny, super important. I just watched Deadpool 1, or Deadpool and the Wolverine, and the beginning was like the funniest part. It sets the tone for the rest of the movie. So it's like, if the beginning of your comic, if this is setting the tone, it's going to be like, okay, I'm going to get a lot of cheap humor stuff. Maybe we're going to get more hits at Eric July. And come on, even if you hate Eric July, is that not going to be super cringy to read? Like, I don't know, if you if you just want to read a comic that's just going to be a hate boner. I'm not saying this is going to be just a complete hate boner from it. Maybe it's just that one joke. But you have to admit, like, come on, that's really fucking lame, right? Like, come on, guys. Let's get comics that are entertaining on their own merit, not just relying on somebody who's been very successful in the field. And I get it, like, oh, that's has he been successful? Is his comics making less and less money? I'm like, okay, Vito, go for volume 2 and see how much it's gonna make. Like, we've seen this with a lot of other people, especially people that are very late with their comics, and how it tends to lose trust in people, and they don't want to wait like 2 years to get a comic. But those are my thoughts. And guys, if you made it this far, I got some news for you. You're retarded. But it's okay, because we're all retarded. It's just more of like an understanding. And then once you understand that you are retarded, you can live life a lot better. So just be one of the guys, join the short bus, and accept that you're all retarded. Me included.
Cruising down the highway, never busting loud.